Okay, take like 4 of this video. Hey guys, it's Deborah. I'm trying to film this, but I keep having issues with my camera. So anyway, let's try this again. So I just wanted to talk to you guys quickly about something I was just reading in Micah that just was like blew me away. I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's about our soon departure and pre-tribulation rapture. So anyway, we're in Micah. Here's chapter 4. It says in the last days. So we know in Micah he's talking about end time stuff, the last days. Okay, so in chapter 5, I just thought something cool here, which you guys know about. But you, Bethlehem, Ephrathah, don't know how to say that. Though you are small among the clans of Judah, out of you will come for me one who will be ruled over Israel, whose origins are from old, from ancient times. That's Jesus, you know? So we know that. Sorry if the camera's a little shaky or a little bit blurry. Just holding my phone here. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, we know that Micah's talking about Jesus. And then it says, therefore Israel will be abandoned until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. I think this is like a dual meaning of Jesus's birth as well as the end times. But think about it. What's a significant birth woman who's going to go into labor and give birth? Revelation 12. I have never seen that. And then it says, and the rest of his brothers return to join the Israelites. This is why I don't think it's also just talking about Jesus's birth, because this is talking about gathering Israel together, and they were already together, but at the time of Jesus's day. So what I think it's saying is, therefore Israel will be abandoned, which is the age of grace, until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. Revelation 12. Ooh. Okay, that's fun. See, it's like, whoa. Okay. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing here. Okay, so until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. So basically the age of grace ends, Israel's no more abandoned, and then at that time the focus is turned back on Israel to bring like Daniel's 70th week to, you know, the atonement for his sin, the last sin of Israel, to like make atonement for it. So I'm just paraphrasing. But and the rest of his brothers return to join the Israelites. That's the 12 tribes, so that they'll be all gathered back together, okay? So I thought that was insane that in Micah it says, therefore Israel will be abandoned until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. How is that not Revelation 12? And then keep moving on, and it said, and they will live securely, for then his greatness will reach to the ends of the earth, and he will be their peace. So that didn't happen in Jesus's day, right? He wasn't their peace. This is talking about, to me, the 1,000-year millennial reign. So here you could say, oh, well, it's saying the birth was Jesus, but it doesn't exactly fit with then the Jews come back and he's their peace. That's at the very end. So I think it could be a dual meaning, but I definitely think here the Lord was showing me Revelation 12. Sorry for the blur. I hope it will focus. Because here what it says is Israel will be abandoned. So to me, that shows a pre-tribulation rapture. It shows like the ecclesia, the church, is out of the book of Revelation during the time of the tribulation, like from chapter, I think it's 4 on. So here you see when the time of the birth comes, then Israel will no longer be abandoned. Sorry, this is what was happening before. It just gets blurry and then it's like not focusing. So hopefully it'll focus in a minute. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so here it says deliverance and destruction. So here it says the remnant of Jacob will be in the midst of many peoples. And here it says the remnant of Jacob will be among the nations in the midst of many people. Now, the reason I pointed that out is because somebody put in a comment recently and it said that we are all going to go through the tribulation because we're all Jacob. It's all Jacob's trouble because we're part of Jacob. I think he said because we've all, like, Jacob's throughout the whole world now or something. But it clearly defines Jacob as being different than the nations. The remnant of Jacob will be in the midst of many peoples. The remnant of Jacob will be among the nations. That's now. Like, they're everywhere. Like, they're returning all to Israel, but they were scattered, right? Like, after the Holocaust and everything, and even before that, they were scattered everywhere. They will be among many nations in the midst of many people. So the reason I wrote Jacob's trouble is just because it is Jacob's trouble. Just like we saw here, Israel is abandoned until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. Revelation 12. Okay, sorry, I'm going to stop again. That like totally makes my screen blurry. Okay, so here we're going to say again, in that day declares the Lord. So we want to focus on what day are we in, the last days. In that day, so let's keep moving on. Still chapter 5, verse 15. I will take vengeance in anger and wrath upon the nations and that have not obeyed me. Okay, so we're talking about wrath. That is what's happening in the tribulation. The reason I pointed this out was I wrote the hour on the whole world. Why did I say that? Because it says, I will take, so in that day, I will take vengeance and anger and wrath upon the nations that have not obeyed me, which is every nation pretty much. So the whole world. So we're talking about the tribulation. We're saying when the woman, it said in chapter 5, it said, Israel will be abandoned until the woman gives birth. Who else could that be? This is crazy. I've never seen that. When the woman gives birth, then Israel will not be ignored anymore. And then at that time, there'll be wrath on all the nations. And what does it say in Revelation? It says, pray you're counted worthy to escape the hour that will come upon the whole world. Just like this pandemic is on the whole world. That, like, many things have not happened on the whole world. It's been on nations, it's been, certain spots, but this will be the whole world, okay? And in the Church of Philadelphia is also told, because they've kept, his word and the patience and all that stuff, basically, I'm paraphrasing, he will keep them from the hour that comes on the whole world. There's only been 1 hour that comes on the whole world. It hasn't happened yet. There's not been an hour that came on the whole world. That is God's wrath, okay? Not like World War I or II. It's about his vengeance and wrath on the whole world, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. Where else was I looking? Almost done here. So now we're in chapter 7. And I said, it says, do not trust a neighbor. Put no confidence in a friend, even with her who lies in your embrace. Be careful of your words. For a son dishonors his father. A daughter rises up against her mother. A daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies, it's not really focusing, are a man's enemies are the members of his own household. That's Luke 12 and Matthew 10. Literally, Jesus is quoting from Micah, which I didn't know, but that's pretty cool. So we are talking about the end of the end. This is the tribulation when this is going to happen. People are going to turn on one another, okay? So I just want to give you, set you in the stage to show you when the woman gives birth. I just read in Micah, this is when all this happens. Okay, so here it says, verse 13, the earth will become desolate because of its inhabitants as a result of their deeds. The earth will become desolate. We are obviously talking about the end, destroyed by fire, not by water. Remember, it'll be destroyed by fire. So I just want to give you context of the book of Micah here. We are talking about the Great Tribulation. So when you read that Israel will be abandoned until the woman gives birth, the child will be cut up. That's us. This is so exciting. Then Israel won't be ignored anymore or abandoned. This is why it is Jacob's trouble. It's for Jacob, okay? This is exciting. So here now we're in chapter 7 still. Okay, nations will see and be ashamed, and then jump down. They will come trembling out of their dens. They will turn in fear to the Lord our God and will be afraid of you. So what does it say? They will hide in the rocks and say, fall on us. Remember, hide in the mountains? That's Revelation 6:16. So right here, it's Micah is talking about the book of Revelation. He's saying they will come trembling out of their dens, and it'll be all the nations. So when has that ever happened? That hasn't happened. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Verse 20, you will be true to Jacob and show mercy to Abraham as you pledged on oath to our fathers in days long ago. I mean, this just sounds like the Abraham Accord, okay? It says, you will be true to Jacob and show mercy to Abraham as you pledged an oath to your fathers in the days long ago. I just feel like that's like, I just done a video about the Abraham Accord and how the enemy wants it to be like, he's trying to say, we're all under Father Abraham, so we're all one. Muslims, Christian, Jews. Remember, that's supposed to be all kind of our father. We're grafted in, but Muslims, bloodline-wise, is supposed to be their father is Abraham, which through Ishmael. And then, okay, my camera just said that was my maximum recording time. I don't know why, but let's continue. Anyway, we're still in the same verse. So, yeah. Abraham is the father of Ishmael and Isaac. So, this Abraham Accord, remember, I told you about that Abu Dhabi Abrahamic house. What is it? It's about 3 religions coming together under Abraham, okay? Because he made an oath. But they're doing it about the wrong way. Remember when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction will fall upon them. So they're doing it in the wrong way. But yet God's way is that he will keep his oath to Abraham. And you will be true to Jacob and show mercy to Abraham as you pledged an oath to our fathers in days long ago. So just the way this Micah ends just reminds me of that Abraham Accord, because I also said God's using it in a way, I think, to say that yes, you will be once again true to Father Abraham, because you're going to learn to worship the way Abraham did. Abraham was a man of faith. He walked in faith. He didn't use religion. He didn't, this was before the law. So soon they're going to go into the Great Tribulation, Jacob's trouble, and they are going to walk in faith just like Abraham, and he will keep his promise to Abraham, because he's going to do what he said in Daniel 70th week. He's going to make recompense, I think the word is, basically atonement for their sins. That's how they're going to, pay for their sins in the end. That's their 70th week. So that was a lot. I'm sorry I talked fast. That was a lot of different things, but let's go back to what my main focus was. This is a history Bible. See, he has, honestly, it just hit me. I think this is NIV. I usually will use King James, but my husband only has this NIV. So hopefully the wording isn't off. Like, I sometimes don't like using, well, I don't usually use the NIV. So I'll have to look up in the King James how it's worded, but I'm pretty confident that this part can't be really much different. So you can always look that up. But the main focus that I wanted to focus for the, talking about focus and my camera can't focus. The main thing I wanted to basically point out to you guys is, come on, focus, is chapter 5 with this verse that says, therefore Israel will be abandoned until the time when she who is in labor gives birth. I don't know why it's not focusing. Oh, there we go. So that's the main thing. Okay, so has anybody seen that? You can put that in the comments, but who on earth it's talking about that? Because I already said it's talking about in the last days, and it's saying that's when, at the end of that, it says, and they will live securely, for then his greatness will reach the ends of the earth, and he will be at peace. And it says, then his brothers will return and join the Israelites. Basically, I truly believe Jesus was showing me that it's about Israel, Jacob's trouble, until the time when she who is in labor gives birth, which is completely Revelation 12. Okay, my camera just shut off again, so that's that for this. I'm going to end it here. But honestly, let me know if you've heard that verse before in Micah where it says, Israel's going to be abandoned only until the time when, she who is in labor gives birth, and then the rest of the brothers will be gathered together. I mean, what? What? And this is about the tribulation, because the next verses, the heading is deliverance and destruction. Okay, so it's about Jacob's trouble. Everything after that, just read Micah 5, is all about Jacob's trouble. And I forgot to mention to you guys, actually in chapter 6, it's really sad because it says, my people, this is God, what have I done to you? How have I burdened you? Answer me. I brought you out of Egypt. I redeemed you from the land of slavery. I sent Moses to lead you. Also Aaron and Miriam. My people, remember. And then it starts going on and on saying, this is the Lord pleading, saying, what have I done to deserve this? Why have you turned on me like this? So basically, after that chapter 5, it starts talking about him saying, why have you turned from me? And now, I'm going to gather you back. And so we know Israel has been dispersed many times through the nations, but never has there been wrath on the whole world. And never has it been all nations. And they'll see, and they'll come out of the rocks, and they'll all declare that I am Lord. And so this is talking about the tribulation, I truly believe. And I believe the Lord was showing me that verse in Micah 5 is literally saying the woman's going to give birth, first Israel's going to be abandoned, and then the woman's going to give birth, and then Israel's time will come, and they'll be gathered together, and they'll be the atonement for their sins in that time period. So that really said pre-tribulation rapture, that Jacob's trouble is for Jacob. It's not for everyone. It's not for all the nations. It's not for the whole world. Lots of people have proved these points, but I've never seen that verse in Micah. I know there's another verse, and I don't remember where it is, where it says that before she is in labor, she gives birth. There's another example of pre-tribulation, that before she is in labor, the woman gives birth. These are all these significant references to a woman giving birth. And from what I understand, Mary did not give birth before she went into labor. If that was about Jesus's birth, so who is this woman giving birth? What other significant woman gives birth? This is Revelation 12 is the woman giving birth. And before the dragon could get the child, it is caught up. Whenever people talk about the post-tribulation rapture stuff, I'm like, do you guys read Revelation 12? Explain it to me. Just explain it to me. Explain why you don't think that that's something. Like, how do you explain Revelation 12? There's so much more. And some people can say, like I said, it's about Jesus, or they have different, interpretations, but I have shown why the interpretation I believe is what it is, but there's so much more proof. But to me, it's like the people don't read Revelation 12, that they don't see that before the dragon could catch the child, it is caught up, and then it turns its attention onto the woman and the remnant of the saints. That's when he turns his attention to them. And that's the time. That's not the very end of the tribulation. Well, I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm talking too much. I'm going further than I wanted to go. I just wanted to share that verse in Micah because, I seriously have never heard it. I just thought that was really cool. And just all of the rest of Micah just really shows me that it'll be on the whole world. It'll be all nations. And even the end, when it talks about having an oath with Abraham, and what are we living through right now? The Abraham Accord. And that's literally how Micah ends, is by saying, I will keep my oath with Abraham. So I thought that was all just like, I was in tears this morning because I was reading and I was asking the Lord, speak or whatever. And the way it came to me, I could feel his presence. I knew he was talking to me. And I literally just posted a video about what Jesus looks like, that I saw him in a dream. And I was like, Lord, I hope I'm not wrong. I mean, I don't want to do anything that displeases you. And I just went into tears reading Micah. It was just, the presence was so amazing. And I felt like it was like maybe a blessing for, obeying him and putting out that video. So anyway, I hope it blessed you guys. I don't think I've seen that before. So we have something to look forward to, that we know, once the age of grace is over, it's Israel's time. It's Jacob's turn. I will ramble one more minute because I was just going to say that. I'll say ramble. I will talk one more minute because I was going to do this longer video. If you followed my last few videos, I said I'm going to do this longer video. I wanted to talk to you guys. It was going to be about the age of grace and how you get saved and all this kind of good stuff. And it's just like, I really do need to get to it. But this was like, I thought I could do this really quick first. But yeah, it's about the time that we're in. We're in an age of grace. This is, you can call it dispensation. It is a time period of grace. And I've talked about hyper-dispensationalism that I don't agree with, but we are in a time period, and that word can be used, dispensation of grace. And that time will end, and then it's going to go into Jacob's trouble. And that's literally what I just read, that it will be when Israel will be abandoned for a while, but then he's going to turn his attention. Like, people have said it over and over. I hope most people hear. And I think everyone who watches this channel pretty much understands that. So sorry to go on and on about the same topic. But again, I've never found that verse before. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it blessed you. Let me know in the comments below what you think of it. And yep, I will get back to you soon with that other video that I've been promising you guys very soon. So until next time, God bless and shalom.